Austin Miller is loose. Spin move. Miller heading for the end zone.
Okay, just a waste of my time. Out of my head, of my mind.
Alright, so not too long ago on my channel, I made a video of how Ohio State is lapping the Big Ten. And that did pretty well. And I decided I'd talk about the entire Big Ten, specifically other teams in Ohio State. Alright, let's get into it. Alright, but first I would like to clarify that I am an Ohio State fan, and there's nothing better than going to the shoe on a warm Saturday. So I'll clarify that. I'll go over every single team. I'm going to have 5 sections. Going to go over every single team and talk about where they are and how good they are, and talk about their chances. Number 2 is going to be what I think the Big Ten title is going to look like. Number 3 is what are their chances to beat Ohio State, because I think everybody's kind of getting the roster to be that. And 4 and 5 will just be me analyzing the rest of the Big Ten. All right, let's get into it. All right, so I'll start off with the Eastern Division, with the Western Division. Wisconsin's a solid team. They had a really good year last year. They made the Rose Bowl but they lost it. They played pretty solid, and they're going to be one of the better teams, I feel like. But they do have a bunch of seasons where they go like 7 and 5. They're inconsistent. And all right, next up is Minnesota. Minnesota is the most inconsistent team in the Big Ten, other than Michigan State. They can go 11 and 1. The next year they can go 5 and 7. They are the most unpredictable team in the nation. In the Big Ten. And yeah. All right, Iowa's, it's pretty consistent. Anywhere from like a 7 and 6 season to like a 9 and 3. A 10 and 3. They're pretty solid, and but they did copy the Pittsburgh Steelers jerseys. So yeah. Illinois, this should be a quick one. They haven't been good since 1920, since they had Red Grange. And they just aren't good, really. But they did make a bowl last year. They did lose to Cal, and the record was 6 and 7. All right, next up we have Purdue. Purdue is a team that their biggest accomplishment is sadly beating Ohio State. Very sadly. And they always are like 4 and 8, 3 and 9, 5 and 7. And yeah. Northwestern. In 2018, Northwestern made the Big Ten championship. The next season, they were the worst team in the Big Ten. So they're definitely inconsistent. I'd say, like, with an average, they're 5 and 7, 6 and 6. All right, next up, and last but not least for the West Division, Nebraska. Nebraska had a bad year. The second year of the Scott Frost era. It's been rough for them because they haven't clinched a bowl game or anything yet. But they'll be up on the rise soon, I feel like. And maybe they'll even get back to their 1990s when they were basically goated. Next up, we have next up is the Eastern Division. I'll start off with Ohio State. Ohio State has to be the best team in the whole conference. They have star quarterback Fields, even though this recording they have JT in that 2017 team, but yeah, and they have Fields, and they're good. They're good. They're a top team in the nation. Good. They're always top 5, and they're great. Their defense was really solid, and it'll stay that way. Next up, and they're also DBU. Next up, we have Penn State. Penn State is the closest team to Ohio State that can beat them it's always close enough. It's always close but no cigar for them. I always like the past like two of the last 3 times they lost by 2 points, and last year they lost by 11. But like they scored like 17 points in the fourth quarter, and Ohio State won like 17-28. So yeah. Next up, we have Michigan, and Michigan. Their season looks something like this. They lose a game to a team early in the year. Doesn't matter who, but they normally do. Then they drop a game to Penn State, Wisconsin, or Michigan State. Then they got embarrassed on Fox Sports Network by Ohio State. Then they lose their bowl game and finish 9-4. Next up, we have Michigan State, good old Sparty. Their glory days are about from 2013 to 2015. They recently fired their coach. It's been rough for them recently. They did clinch bowl eligibility, and they're always a 4th place team. They're pretty solid, I guess. I mean, it's a team that like nobody kind of watches except for when they have like a big game. They got murdered by Ohio State, Penn State, and Michigan this year, and Wisconsin. It was just tough to watch, honestly. All right, next up we have Indiana. Indiana did make a bowl, which is good for them, but they were just trash, honestly. Like they aren't that good. Next up, I guess I'll talk about Maryland. Maryland is a good basketball school, but they're bad at football. They actually they're the second worst team in the conference, I'd say, behind. Well, yeah. They always go like 3-9, something around that. All right, next up we have our last and certainly least, Rutgers. I've been to 2 Rutgers games, one in 2015, and both of them were Ohio State. In 2015, Ohio State had, I think we all know, they had Miller, and they had a loaded receiver room and quarterbacks. And they were good, and you would be shocked to see how little people there are. And they have this "Are You Ruh" thing, and every single 15 minutes they mention the birthplace of college football. It's kind of sad, honestly, but I guess whatever. And we went, and Ohio State was number 2 in the nation in 2019 when we went, and not even like the student section was so small. Nobody was there, and the football team's bad. All right, next section is now. All right, quickly, I would just like to say the Big Ten is the second most broadcasted conference. They had a bunch of primetime games, which is the Whiteout, which is always broadcasted primetime. And there was also the Notre Dame-Michigan game, which was primetime. Also, there was the Ohio State blackout game against Michigan State, and Ohio State, Nebraska, which was also, yep. And yeah, that's kind of what I just wanted to talk about. And I would say I had a ton of fun recording this. I grabbed a bunch of clips from good games in the Big Ten, and it was just fun.
Championship game is Ohio State versus Wisconsin. It's pretty normal at this point. The last time these 2 teams faced off in the Big Ten title, Ohio State won 34-21. In 2017, they faced off. Ohio State won. And in 2014, Ohio State blew the doors off of Wisconsin and won 59-0. And then they won the Natty, and yeah. I would like to quickly say, this video took forever to make. I haven't uploaded the video yet, and I probably will do that at 3 o'clock maybe. It's 12:09 p.m. where I live, and I have been working since 4 in the morning, and that's just on gathering all the videos and stuff. So, and the day before, I had to look at if everything's like would get copyrighted claims, and none of these videos would. But please, just please like the video. It would be an honor. All right. Next up, I guess I'll talk about like what to talk about. I don't know. How about we talk about 5 questions for next season if it does happen. The first question has to be if there is a season, because I can't say it on YouTube because they don't want to get demonetized, but but the thing that we've been in lockdown mode, Rona. Yeah, we'll call it Rona. And before that, before Rona hit, there was no question about it, and we're all like, all right, well, let's look at the recruiting and stuff. And I would like to say really quickly though, another question is, how good will Rutgers be with their hiring of Greg Schiano? I think they'll be the same. They'll suck. Maybe a win or 2 extra, but nothing like drastic. Next up, will Michigan State get back to their old form? Michigan State, you'll see later in the video, I'll have a clip of them playing. A lot of people don't see them getting back to normal, but some do and some don't. All right, number 4 will have to be, can any team take down Ohio State? Just straight up now. Maybe Penn State, maybe, just maybe, but probably not. Yeah, all right, that's and the last question will be, if there is a season, is this the last season of Jim Harbaugh? I'm a Buckeye fan, so I am hoping that the answer is no, and I want more of him because he's 0-5, and he's so bad. Like, the TikTok kids are doing stuff like those memes, like how to like beat a team step by step. Now that Jim, and there's one at how to beat Ohio State step by step, and there's one Michigan's like, and it says now that Jim Harbaugh's here and has a dagger thrown by Fields to Garrett Wilson. And yeah, I'll show you guys real quick. The next video I'm doing is about top 5 rivalries in college football. Could be FBS, could be FCS, hell, it could be community college, but it's all of them. And all right, that's gonna do it for the video. I'm out. Peace.